Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here, one half of the Bloody Legends podcast. We are awaiting our co-host, but I didn't want to make our extra special guest, Mychael Gabriel, wait any longer. His latest debut album, Genesis, is an absolute treasure to dive into. But not only that, for me, as I was saying just before we hit record, it was a joy to jump back into some funk and some soul and some blues. Like I was listening to Funkadelic last night, Jackie Wilson, Brides of Funkenstein, Graham Central Station, man, all this cool funk and blues stuff over the last week, kind of getting ready for this, man. So thank you very much for that as well.
That's great. Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. Bloody Legends podcast listeners, so great to be here.
I'm going to ask a question, man. I want to know your earliest musical memory, because I know you have had a broad life around music as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, some of my earliest recollections as a child is just music being a constant force in the house. You know, we were always getting some of like the obviously the latest Prince and Sheila E music, you know, was always playing in the house. So that's probably one of my earliest memories is listening to the live, you know, sort of concert Sign of the Times. And, you know, that was kind of like my everyday routine. Popped in the tape and, you know, grabbed my plastic guitar and pretended that I was on stage with all of them. That's probably my earliest memory.
So it would have been a really quite a bit of an exciting childhood, but one that's just normal to you as well, because your father, I believe, he was security for Prince as well, and then your mother had a lot to do with Sheila E as well, whose music is amazing, I have to say as well.
Yeah, so my parents, they worked in both camps. You're right. My father worked as Prince's personal security, ended up becoming his manager and president of Paisley Park over the years. And then my mother grew up with Sheila E in the Bay Area. They were childhood friends, and she became her co-lyricist and road manager. And so, you know, my folks met and fell in love while working on the Purple Rain tour. So in this kind of weird, you know, happenstance, you know, I'm kind of like this Purple Rain world tour love child or something like that. I don't know.
That really does make a lot of sense, as well as Jim Taylor, our one half of the co-host, is jumping there as well.
Jim, all right, we got both sides of it.
We have both sides coming in hot. As he's coming in hot there, Jim. He's just connecting to the audio. I was just mentioning there that I was watching the 2020 Grammy salute to Prince as well, but I will talk about that a little further on. Jim, we were just talking about how Michael's parents kind of met as well, and that kind of forming the early childhood.
Oh, wonderful.
As well.
Jim, how's it going? Good to see you, man.
How are you, Michael? Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Yeah. So you're in the States here.
I am, sir.
Okay. Wait, is that your microphone?
It is.
Hold that thing up. That's dope. I got to get me one of them.
Can you hear me all right, sir?
Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds
Jay, can you hear me all right?
Great.
I can hear you fine.
That's wonderful.
You know what? I'm not kidding. I'm going to need to get a link to where you got that mic.
Honestly, I will send it to you, my friend.
Yes.
Because I this is cool because I can hear everybody, and I was a little terrified because I was gonna get I still want to get another mic because Jay has a wonderful microphone, and I wanted to do that, but I'll use anything. But if you guys can hear me okay.
It has a cool sort of like presence. I'm going to use it in a recording for sure. It has this cool presence to it. Yeah, that's just kind of different. Yeah, I like it.
Wonderful. And hopefully here we can, let's see the dungeon, as it were. So
I love it. Yeah, the Bat Cave. I love it.
Indeed, sir.
So I hear I don't want to get too off the rails, but I hear you're working on a guitar.
Okay. So I literally came from dinner with my wife, and I use any guitar. I'm the ASPCA of instruments. I don't care what it is. I'll use anything. I like to do my own thing with instruments.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things like through the wonderful people at Gibson, my band Lenne, we're actually semi-endorsed by Gibson. And I tend to use Explorers. So I was like, man, that'd be cool to have an Explorer, and nothing against anybody. I'm looking right at the camera right now. I'll use any guitar you want.
Just send them over. Here's my address.
My good friends, it was one of those things. So I went and I had I was off today, post Thanksgiving and all that. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we did.
And and it was kind of a surprise. My friends were like, well, actually, we were thinking of just cutting you one as a prototype. So I was
not going to say no to that.
Right. I will absolutely. Gabriel, Mr. Gabriel. Sorry, Mr. Gabriel. I know you're Michael. Mr. Gabriel. I call everybody sir. Jay knows this. It's just the way
you
I
know
roll.
What? Sir is actually my on my birth certificate as my first name. So it's Sir Mychael Gabriel.
There we go.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wonderful. I apologize for being late, gentlemen. Also, I wanted to see if this sounded better because I don't. Jay always sounds so wonderful. And
Blue
I
Mike,
was
if
like,
you want to endorse me anytime, we're down with that as well.
Honestly, we'll take everything. I wanted to make sure it sounded all right too.
It sounds great.
But,
Jim, I just want to cut in there quickly, Michael. While we're talking guitars, what guitars are you using, mate? I want to know what you're using.
I was going to say, I'm curious as well.
Yeah, so I'm semi-endorsed by PRS, and so I'm using an SE Custom right now. Yeah, on the road. It's a single coil, or it has a coil tap, so you get a little bit of the best of both worlds, with the humbucker and the single coil. So it's my road warrior right now because it's kind of like carrying two guitars in one. I get a little bit of each sound as needed. So it's been great, and it's it has a Floyd Rose on there. I have a soft spot for dive bombers. So speaking about you had mentioned you like to toy around with your guitars.
Oh, absolutely.
This was maybe 5 years ago, maybe longer than that, 6-7 years ago. I wanted to experiment more with Floyd Roses, and so I built my own sort of Frankenstein guitar. It was like a Stratocaster clone with a Godot Floyd Rose. I'm not sure if you know about Godot.
Oh yes, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, they're like cream of the crop. I mean, that thing was like butter. The rest of the guitar, the setup, I'm not a luthier, so
right.
I did the best that I could, and it was functional. But man, that Godot, that was everything.
Well, I was gonna say, in your style, is very percussive.
Yeah.
In that, you're the dichotomy between your leads and rhythm. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like you want something you need a hot rail,
right?
I mean, or hot coil or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But
actually, I had the hot rails on that Stratocaster
nice.
clone. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my. But yeah. So I will send you the photos of the wood being cut.
I can't wait. That's great. Yeah.
I got the photos and the plans and
I sent it to Jay literally
this morning. He's I might be running a little bit late. I'm doing a custom guitar.
Hey, really cool. I'm not mad at that at all.
No,
I felt terrible. I literally ran here and I was like, well, let me get this tiny mic on the thing, and I don't want to be late. I said, Jay, I'm so sorry. I apologize, Michael.
No, it's all good. It's worth it. We had a little something extra to talk about. I love talking shop.
Yes,
exactly.
Sir.
So, Michael, as I was we were mentioning about growing up and kind of first getting into music, when were you when did you first pick up an instrument? Was it guitar first, or was it drums?
Yeah, it was guitar. Yep. It was guitar first. My parents were the type of parents that really just encourage the whole music thing.
I thought they might be like, no, we're both in the same. No, I'm not gonna do this.
You would think so, because I know so many other people, who and myself included, with my own children, I'm like, the industry is kind of one that eats its young, so a lot of times you have parents that kind of caution youngsters. It's like, maybe you should,
Right.
My parents were the exact opposite. They were like, dive in head first, here's all the instruments that you're interested in this, you're interested in that, here it is, but guitar was always my first love, and it was because of the music I grew up listening to, Prince, Jimi Hendrix,
Yes.
Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown, there's so much BB King, guitar was always kind of like, what is that sound that I'm hearing? It's so versatile, sometimes it sounds percussive, sometimes it's squealing, and sometimes it's wailing, sometimes it's very sensitive, it's like, the instrument always intrigued me, how versatile the sound was. And so that I started taking lessons. I think I was about 6 years old. The timeline is kind of a little fuzzy, but it was somewhere around that neighborhood.
A fair bit of work. So do you have any advice for anyone who's, thinking, their kid wants to get into guitar and, hard work?
Nowadays, I mean, with technology, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Really now with technology, like I remember trying to, listen. I remember my parents listening on vinyl. I remember when I was trying to learn songs that I liked, putting in the tape cassette, and then the tape getting all scrambled, and then I had to get a pencil and rewind it with, the thing. Yes. Nowadays you just go on YouTube and you can slow that sucker down, by frame, learn it note for note. How did Joe Satriani play that riff? So it's like I can break it down in a way that you never had the ability to before. So if you didn't have a really good ear, or you knew another guitar player that was really good that could really break it down for you, some of it was inspiring, and then some of it was defeating because it seemed impossible. It's like, how are they doing that? Like I have no idea. And so it's really encouraging now at any age, whether you're 5, 65, 75, 85, it's like, if it's something you ever wanted to do, there's no better time to do it than now. I mean, we're as close to being able to like just plug your brain into the matrix and download the information as we've ever been. So just
record.
Do it. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Think it. Just dive into it. How'd you go, Michael, from 6-year-old you starting guitar to tell us about your first musical project, kind of leading into where you are, because you mentioned Earth, Wind and Fire, and you mentioned a couple of other artists, and you've worked with some amazing artists up into where you are now. So tell me a little bit about your first project you went into professionally.
Yeah, so some of my first projects professionally. So how I got into this professionally, Sheila E is actually my godmother.
Yeah.
And so
so brilliant, dude.
I've been loving her music as well.
Yeah.
I knew that
my
God, godmother, unreal. I've been watching some of that live footage, but we'll get into that.
Yeah,
no doubt.
She's amazing. But after I finished audio school, I gave her a call and I said, hey, I fresh out of audio school, but I feel like this is something I really want to do. Can I fly to LA and just be a fly on the wall in your studio?
Absolutely.
Just I'll clean up garbage cans. I'll do whatever needs to be done. And she was like, yeah, she was really into it. And so I was there for a couple months and just helping out where I could. And then her head engineer had to leave to go out on tour. And so I'm the only other person there. And she's like, hey, you said you went to audio school for this, right? Like, do you know how to run any of this stuff? Because I need somebody. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then fast forward, I become her head engineer. And then that just snowballs into all of these other opportunities, in film and television, working with other artists and whatnot. So that was kind of my introduction. It was almost like a trial by fire sort of thing. And I was either, I was so young and naive at the time, or just hopeful. Like, I don't know what it was in me that made me just say yes, because I had every reason to kind of say no. It's like, this is a legendary musical icon that's asking me if I can kind of help her run her studio. And I was just like, yeah, I guess, sure. and the faith that she had in me, it's like, I can't be understated. I so appreciate her just giving me the shot. So yeah, that's kind of my first introduction into this industry.
Would you like to say something there, Jim, or you're good?
No. I'm just enthralled, but because Mychael, listening to your stuff, there, you've carved your own path, but definitely the influence of not only Sheila, of Prince, of dare I say, the Minneapolis sound is definitely there.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on with that tonality. Jay and I listen to everything. Excuse me. We listen to everything, but we think of you can't help but go from heavy metal to soul to funk.
Right.
And that's where I hear everything in that. So I feel like between all of you guys, I feel, they're everything from infectious grooves to, to soul and all
to that
that
prog, some of this
thing.
modern prog and that, like you listen to some of this prog
Jay.
and it's so jazzy and funky and some of it is and it all comes from that, the whole metal and everything, it all comes from this genre as well. So like Jim's saying, you can't help
1000%
be able to jump back into funk or blues and to soul or something like that as well. It just feels so right.
Thank you guys. Yeah, well,
absolutely.
So that's kind of the concept of the album as well. It's like, it's supposed to be reflective of like my musical experience over the years. It's supposed to be representative of like sort of my origin story sort of thing. That was kind of the whole concept of the album. That's one of the reasons it's called Genesis, is because it means origin.
But amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But thank you so much. But yeah, the Minneapolis sound, it's in and of itself, it's kind of a gumbo of so many different things.
Yes, sir.
And it's just something that's kind of pre-programmed. It's my default. It's kind of like just in my DNA. So it's not something I sit down and go, oh, let me try to recreate this. It's just something that just comes out like, almost as natural as breathing.
And I didn't want to pigeonhole you in that, not just because you've worked with Sheila, not because you worked with Prince and everybody there.
That everyone else he's worked with is unreal.
Yeah, right.
Must have been unreal. Growing. Yeah, I know.
But oh, thank you so much. But yeah, no, I mean that whole Minneapolis vibe, I do carry that almost as like a badge of honor though too, because it's always a good feeling because you never want anything to come off as contrived, right? Or this is what he's trying.
He's trying to go for this,
right? He's trying to go for that, and it's always a good feeling because the general response that I've received has been just that, where people recognize that, oh, this is that, as opposed to it's trying to be that. And there's a big difference there. And so, I'm appreciative. All the kind words, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So fast forward, I was talking about the 2020 tribute to Prince as well. It was only, you had to be in that as well with Sheila E as well and everybody else. But that was really, really cool to watch. What was it like being asked to be a part of that? Because you're a huge part of that, man, in the guitar and that, dude, watching this, you on guitar shredded up through all of that,
Thank
man.
you.
It was cool as.
Thank you. It was surreal, because it was an honor to be a part of, but it was also, it was heavy at times, because to lose such a musical legend, so early is just, it hits you right in the gut, so it was really important for all of us in the band, was like, okay, we got to get this right. We got to do it justice, especially knowing the background of some of the players, because some of the players, were in his band, played with him, and, so it was like, we all had this sense of feeling of just really wanting to honor it in the best way that we possibly could. So
Yes.
rehearsals were grueling and intense, but also like so uplifting at the same time, because we all knew we were all on the same page and all in agreement with what we needed to do in that moment, and that was to honor Prince.
A really, really great performance. People can jump over and watch that one as well. I was absolutely grooving out to that one as well. And this big list I've got here of people you've worked with them, half of them performed at that Salute to Prince as well. And, you know, not only you knowing him as a musician, you knew him as a person as well. So definitely, as did all those musicians who were kind of performing there as well, because he was a very giving man, not only of his music, but of his time as well. So that's something else people need to remember of him.
He really was. He really was. And people talk about the, you know, mystery and mystique about him. And, you know, that's definitely true to a certain extent. But to your point, he was very open and very giving and very down to earth, you know, if you were just in a room with him by yourself. Yep. So it's really cool.
I want to talk about your time with Sheila E. What was it like being asked to kind of be an official member of the Sheila E band as well, dude?
That's so rad, dude.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I had been working with her as her engineer for, you know, quite a few many years. And then an opportunity came to tour Europe, and, you know, they were looking for a guitar player, and she was like, you know, hey, you know, do you think you could, you know, play our set, you know? And actually this was coming this was coming a couple months prior to our last show. I don't remember what year it was, 2015 or something like that. Right. And we played, it was like the last show of the year. And she was like, hey, you know, just for fun, you know, bring your guitar to the show, because I was doing production and everything like that for the live tours. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. You know, I can, you know, whatever. And so she had me come out, and she's like, you know, go and take the solo. You know, I take the solo. Next thing I know, she's like, hey, you want to be in the band? You know, we're doing this European tour. I was like,
that's the raddest thing ever. How rad is that? Because I mean, she's oh my gosh, but that makes sense, because your guitar style, again, it's this different thing, you know.
Thank you.
Oh God, dude, like your way of playing, like listening to listening what you've done in Genesis, that makes sense, because you know, she has Latin flavor, she has funk flavor,
right,
dude.
Well, she's played with everyone, and so it's just kind of being in that environment, you know, because I started working with her when I was like 16, 17 years old, and so some of these things you get from almost osmosis, you know, just kind of being around incredible players, you know, because everybody that ever plays in her band is like almost like world renowned in and of themselves. Like she has this knack for finding just incredible musicians,
no doubt.
And so you can't help but to, you know, it's again that trial by fire sort of thing. It's like either you're going to rise to the occasion or you're going to get, you know, burned, you know. So
I feel like you almost need to just, like, you know, get over it and like just shoot for the sun, and just go. Like, I feel that with you, with her, and it's just like, all right, let's go. You know?
What was that first Euro tour like there, Michael?
It was exhilarating. It was so much fun. I mean, it was just like I was just grinning ear to ear, like and it's, you know what, it still feels like that to this day, you know. Just every time we hit the stage, it's just I really count my blessings.
And especially after the last couple of years, being able to come back, Michael, as well, and being able to perform to the audiences as well, not virtually or anything like that, but have that connection with the fans as well, would have been, you know, going away a couple of years, then coming back to this live scene after not having it would have been a really big blast.
I didn't realize how much I missed it until it was gone.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so it's like, we always say that the traveling is the work and playing the gig is the real fun, you know. It
Right.
doesn't even feel like work. It's like, that's, you know, oh, it's as soon as we hit the stage, it's like, oh yeah, that's why I got on that 36-hour flight to, you know, to South Africa.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's why we
That's
did
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the touring life isn't as fun as people think it is. It's a lot of traveling, going to
Yeah.
shows, and a lot of fast
Yeah.
food as
That-
well. Well, the motivation
Oh.
for the solo stuff as well. Tell me a little bit about, okay, then, you know, now I want to bring out some solo material as well. You did bring out those first couple of tracks. I think it was the Ghost in the Midnight, Honesty,
Ghost
Yeah.
in the
and
Midnight,
the other
definitely.
singles, Invictus, Fury,
Yep.
and the Sights and Sounds before the album. Tell us a little bit about going into the solo work as well. And
Right. So, I have always had a passion for songwriting. Guitar as a musical instrument has been my, you know, first love, but songwriting was my first like true passion. And
Yeah.
so I've been writing songs since I was like 11 years old or younger, and documenting all of it. You know, it first started on my 8-track tape recorder, and then I upgraded to, you know, some cheap SoundForge DAW on my Windows computer, then upgraded finally to like Pro Tools and a real sort of setup. And, you know, I think the pandemic, though, is what really kind of brought this idea of like, okay, you've been harboring all these songs for all these years. It's like, let's start giving them a home, you know, because it's I feel like it's part of the evolution of a songwriter or just, you know, an artist in creating is it's like, you know, you spend some time with your art, but then you got to let it free, you know, because if you don't let it free, you're kind of, you know, restricting some of your own growth, or, you know, like, what's the point of, you know, creating this art if we're not going to share it? You know, if it puts a smile on one other person's face, then it was worth it, you arguably, you know. So I started having a lot of those thoughts, you know, during the pandemic, and I said, oh, okay, I don't want to just take, you know, 12 songs and slap them together and call it an album. It was important for me to have a concept and a story, and, you know, just all of that. And so when that fully became realized, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And it's was the beginning of this year that I really started, you know, taking time to put together the full project. And that's what you hear, Genesis.
Well, tell us a little bit about the concept and the making of this album. What was how you start with a nice intro there, and you lead into, you know, Let There Be Light.
Right.
It's got a really good vibe to this album. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed not only diving into the funk and soul music, but diving into this album for me was an absolute pleasure.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was. You know, it
that's
really
great.
was. The feel, the
That's
vibe,
great to hear.
everything to it.
Yeah, well, because you always wonder, it's like, am I going to stick the landing? You know, so that's really great to hear. Yeah,
Definitely did, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
No. Thank you. Yeah, so the concept for the record was part biblical allegory, and I think I mentioned it earlier on, was that it was going to be half biblical allegory and then half kind of my origin story and sounds that inspired me to become the artist that I am today. So that's why you hear, you know, some of the rock and roll. That's why you hear some of the funk and the Minneapolis sound. That's why it's a multi-genre album, because it's representative of kind of my musical tastes and styles and things that have inspired me over the years. And so sonically, that was kind of like the poetry, if you will, in me kind of putting together the track listing and why it sounds and feels the way that it does. And then on the biblical allegory side of it, you know, the first couple of tracks could be looked at as like almost the voice of God speaking, and then the heavens coming down to earth, and then we're into the humanity of it all in the later tracks. And so that's kind of, you know, the rough sort of, you know, abridged version of the storyline. But yeah, it was everything you hear in the record, I played and performed myself. I'm an engineer by trade, so I engineered it as well. And so it really was supposed to be representative of, you know, the kind of the fullness of, you know, the Mychael Gabriel musical experience.
and the first single, Celebrate, I believe. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that track off of the album.
Oh.
Yeah, so that one, I write a lot with sentiment and feeling kind of being at the forefront of whatever it is that I'm doing. So like I said, I'm never going to sit down in the studio and say, I mean, unless it's for a client or something like that, I'm never going to sit down in the studio for my own stuff and say, okay, I need to write a song like this. I instead think, how do I want to feel listening to the song? And I knew I wanted to have that feeling of like celebration, especially we're coming out of, 2 years of this pandemic and everything like that. It's like, I want to just feel free. I want to be able to celebrate, because we've been closed in for so long. And so those were kind of the feelings and sentiments that I went into the studio having when I wrote that song. And, I said, going back to the biblical allegory, the heavens kind of raining down on earth. I was like, okay, what would that be like if the heavens were able to kind of, come here to earth and kind of revitalize things? And I said, it would sound like Minneapolis. That's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what birthed the whole and inspired that whole track, and I wanted it to sound like, the feeling I get playing, live shows and all of that. And so, that's kind of it in a nutshell with Celebrate.
Yeah, really, really cool track. And the other single off
Thank
it
you.
was Let There Be Light. Tell us a little bit
Let
about
There
that
Be
track.
Light,
Yeah, man, cool track.
Yeah. So the first words that God spoke in the Bible were "Let there be light." And so I was in the studio late at night, and I had that revelation. I was like, okay, so this is the concept for the record. I was like, oh, that would be cool if I had a song, like that. And when I came to that realization, the song was written in like 30 minutes. I started with a guitar riff, and I was like, okay, that's it. That's the riff. Went over to the drums, recorded that, and kind of started putting together the skeleton, sort of piece by piece. And, the lyrics just kind of rolled right off the tongue because I knew what I was aiming at. A song about, self-empowerment and confidence and, how, like, you're creating a universe. It's like, of course you're a badass. And in it being the first track, I felt kind of like that. I'm creating, a universe, in this story, in this album, and, this musical experience. And so,
Well,
it
how
needed to come out the gate blazing.
Yeah, how long did it take you, Michael, like to make this album?
I was going to say, that was my question too.
Doing all this by yourself as well. It would have been a long process. If you have anyone like as an impartial kind of going, no, keep that dude, or no, cut it, because you could go either way, couldn't you?
Yeah. So I am grateful to say that I do have, some really good friends as sounding boards. My father is, a constant source of inspiration. He's probably, the first person that I send all of my tracks to. I'm like, hey, Pop, what do you think of this? Because, he's, I mean, he was in the studio with one of the greatest musical legends of all time. I'm like, am I on the mark? What do you think of it?
How's my tone? Am I all right? What's going on?
Yeah. So yeah, and actually, Let There Be Light, sort of sidebar, that title, I got that idea from him in a text. That same night that I was in the studio, he texted me. He's like, because sometimes he'll just text me. It's like, what about this as a song title? And he said, Let There Be Light. And I was like, aren't those the first words? And like, that's it. It was just felt like lightning in a bottle. I was like, I was like, okay, I'm in the zone. It's like, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. I got to get this out. Yeah. But back to your question. How long did it take? Like I said, I started working on it seriously at the beginning of this year, 2022. Oh, wow. And it was released in August. So yeah, I mean, in between touring and all the other, different things that I've been doing this year. You know, I was working on it pretty rigorously from the beginning of this year on.
Yeah, you've done well.
That's cool
to get it out, considering you started at the beginning of the year. What's the whole process been like? You as a solo artist, you know, bringing out an album is a very personal experience as well.
It
and you
is.
mentioned wondering how people are going to take it, and that's absolutely unreal. It's great to see people have taken. What's this process been like for you?
Yeah, it's been you know, somebody told me a long time ago, it's like, if you don't put music out, you're never going to be able to kind of move on to the next thing that you're going to do. And this was always about me taking a first initial step. So, you know, even though the feedback and general response has been really, really good, I'm so excited to kind of continue to put more material out. So I've been working on a deluxe version of this record that includes more tracks. I'm working on the follow-up to this record, because like I said, you know, I have a mini vault of my own that I've been working on, you know, over the years. And, you know, I've just been really itching to get these songs out. And so I'm excited, you know, I guess that's the best way I could put it. I'm excited. I'm filled with gratitude for the response that I've received so far, but just really excited, looking toward the future.
Yeah, a very, very bright future indeed, Mychael. Do you think working with all these artists as well, do you think it's definitely helped you as a career? Do you think waiting until you brought this album out instead of when you first come out of audio school to bring out an album, do you think it helped you as a musician, dude? Yes. What would you say to yourself? You're like, yeah.
Yes, and I'm sure anybody that records themselves will have similar sentiments. Is that like I go back and listen to the stuff that I recorded way long time ago, and I'm like, man, that's a little cringe, you know. But at the same time, it's like kind of part of the process, you know. Because if you don't do it, it's like you need to be able to hold a mirror to your own sort of musicality and some of the ideas, and you know, so that's another suggestion for anybody that's a musician or a songwriter or whatever. Just record your stuff, you know. Yes, just record every day if you can, you know, and you're gonna see progress in that. And so yeah, I mean, I think they say timing is everything. I think now was definitely the right time to do this. And yeah, I'm just excited for what the future holds.
Yeah, it did come out a little earlier in the year. Where's the best place people can hit that up and support you, Mychael, with what you got going on?
Yeah, so it's available anywhere you stream music. Mychael Gabriel, Mychael with a Y is what you need to look up as well. Because I spell it kind of funky. Yeah, I spell it Mychael and then Gabriel. Yeah. So you can look me up anywhere you stream music. MychaelGabriel.com. You can find all the latest news, and all my social handles are Mychael Gabriel with a Y.
Yeah, it is a really great album. Do you have a favorite track off the album, man? I know they're all your baby, and I'm sure it changes week to week.
Yeah,
I know exactly how it is. So.
It's like choosing your favorite kid. Yeah. I don't know. I really like When It Comes to You. Yeah. That song has a special place in my heart. The writing that song really kind of was another one of those, like, I just felt really in the zone, you know, with whatever, you know, I was aiming for musically. And then the guitar solo, it was just like, it was one of those things where I recorded it and I listened it back and I was like, wait, you know, not meaning to float my own boat, but I was like, did I play that? I was like, I really did that? Okay,
did that just happen?
That's a keeper. Yeah. So I like that.
Do you feel that do your guitar lines come before your vocals, or vice versa?
It kind of depends. Like it depends from a producer aspect. It kind of depends on what you're aiming to take the lead or the forefront in the track. So if the vocals are supposed to kind of be in front, I'm going to want a little bit of the vocals there so I can play in between, you know.
Right. Like
But
question and answer it.
right, exactly.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
but sometimes it's just a vibe. And that song, it was just a vibe. And so
Okay.
I think I just hit record, and what you hear on the guitar, like there was no like punching in or anything like that. It was just like, this is what I'm feeling. And I just I kept it. And one of the reasons it sounds kind of the way that it does is, because I was listening to some songs, by some of the greats, Prince included. In some of my favorite songs, I noticed that the perfection is in the imperfections. We live in a day and age where everybody wants everything perfect. Everything needs to be tuned.
Play from the gut, man. Let it be raw.
Yeah. Quantize all the drums, make everything match up to the grid just so perfectly. Right. And when you do that, and I'm not knocking anybody else, because some people do it really well, and I get it, but for me, I feel like sometimes it can suck the humanity and soul out of a track when it's too perfect.
This was literally a conversation I had with a couple of my friends this afternoon. And you can beat the hell out of recording and be like, nope, that wasn't a take. Nope, that wasn't a take. If you had a really good take and it was just raw and it was from the gut, and it's like, don't take away from that, then keep that one. Roots, warts and all. And all of that.
No, exactly. Because it's about capturing a moment. It's about capturing a moment that's going to live forever. And I understand in some people's mind, it's like, if this is going to live forever, it has to be perfect, but sometimes, actually, I feel more times than not, the perfection is in the imperfect moments.
Oh, yeah, like you listen to some of those bands, like I'm just going to mention Jimmy because we mentioned him earlier on, man. The way he played, dude, like
on the edge.
It was
and you
free.
Watch some of those footages, man. It just seems so,
it just felt free. Jimmy is definitely one of those where it's like his style and the music sounds the way it does was because it was just free. It was just, you weren't listening to his guitar, you were listening to his soul.
To his soul, right? And like, and that's the thing I hear in you is you have your vocals, and also you have a rhythm lead style, where it's like, it's one of those things like you have a, in bands you have a rhythm guitar, you have a lead guitar, but you're both. And that's what's amazing. And it's like, my cadence is gonna be this, so I'm gonna drag a little on the rhythm a little bit. Maybe I'll do a filler after I sing this one line. You know what I mean? You got it. And I hope I'm not.
No, you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah. And so much of that is like, the live touring sort of experience kind of coming into the studio sort of thing. It's like, because, I've been in a lot of situations where I have to fill both roles as a rhythm guitarist and step in as the lead guitarist, so you're doing both, covering the leads and covering the rhythm. And so a lot of that comes out in the music.
It certainly does come out in the music. What's happening on the Sheila E front? How's things going over there? You got anything planned for there at the moment, or?
Yeah, we're doing a gig in Detroit next week, and then we have we're doing a cruise in January, and then a bunch of dates in February and through March. Yeah. So it's we're hitting the ground running, as soon as like within the first week of 2023. So
so it's definitely been a big year for you as well, Mychael, not only with the album, but with Sheila E, shows all over the place. Has there any been really big highlights that have stood out for you 2022, mate?
2022, so we did, we did a European tour. Always great to tour Europe. We did something called the World Games, which I'm afraid to say I didn't know a whole lot about, but it's just to kind of fill everybody in. It's kind of sports that don't get broadcasted in the Olympics or whatever. All of those, like I'm trying to think of an example.
You can't even say skateboarding. Skateboarding is everything that's not in the Olympics.
I know. I can't think of any examples, but but I will say, so we played the opening ceremony and it
Nice.
felt like the Olympics, everybody coming out onto the field with their flags. And it was one of the first times where I had seen that many people all like in person, all gathered in one place. And so there was something really kind of moving about that. So that was kind of cool. We played for the president and a bunch of other dignitaries and world leaders at Summit of the Americas. So that was interesting and cool and scary at the same time, because we're on stage and we're about 15, 20 feet from all of these world leaders. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's not something that happens every day. And then I start to
That's
panic
rad.
because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's probably Secret Service and snipers all pointed to the stage. I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm probably right in their scopes right now, like my head. Like if I make one false move, and I'm like, oh man. And I was like, okay, I can't think about that. We just got to play the show.
Guitar that way, just
No, they were glued, brother. I guarantee you.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah, but
awesome.
Anytime we get to step on stage, it's one for the books. It's like I don't take any of it lightly, and I feel very grateful.
And
That's
I dare
awesome.
say 2023, as you say, lots of shows, but also maybe some more material for Mychael Gabriel coming out in 2023 as well.
Yes, and I hope to be touring some of this music as well myself. So that's another thing.
That was my question, man. Are you touring this?
Dude, like that's been the part I've been most excited about. So we're kind of ramping up towards that in 2023. So it's like that's kind of the culmination of all of it. You write this music, you put it out into the ether, but then you have to experience it live, in order to kind of top it off. So that's what I've been looking forward to most.
Well, I was going to say that's another dichotomy too, where it's like, how do you, it's like, okay, well, I have this in my mind. I know how this sounds. And it's like, okay, now I need a rhythm guitar player. I need a bass player. I need a drummer. To be like, okay, here's what I wrote,
right?
And here, let me present it to you and all that. What is that like? Like kind of like, okay, here's what I wrote, and well, it kind of needs to sound like this, but at the same time, make it your own.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's kind of the fun part. It's like
for sure.
So when you're writing by yourself, it's like you're painting a picture alone.
Yes. Right.
And when you go to take that live, it's like, okay, here's the original picture. Right. We're gonna recreate it, but I want you guys to do it in your kind of own way and style. And so the thing that I found, in playing with, quality musicians is it's important that on stage, the audience understand that the musicians are having a conversation with each other.
Yes.
And that's really what, going to live shows is all about. It's just kind of,
yes, sir.
And the audience is like the other band member, because we all feed off that energy. And so you're creating another moment and experience together through musical conversation.
It was funny because I just done a workshop with the State Theatre here in South Australia, and the composer was actually talking about this exactly, being able to not only work with your cast member with that energy and talking, and the same thing bands do as well, but also with the stage and the audience. It was funny how that just came up exactly like that. You don't realize how much things are like this in the world.
It is. It's all connected, especially the audience, because, we really strongly feel it. It's like whatever the energy of the audience is at the time, it's like, we're giving, and when the audience gives back, it's such a great feeling, but, I'd be lying if I didn't say, there have been times where it's like, especially, early on post pandemic, it was hard for the audience to kind of figure out. It's like, are we allowed to celebrate it? It's like we finished playing a song and it's like, oh yeah, I guess we clap. Is that what we do? Is that what we used to do? Yeah, I think this is what we used to do. Yeah, okay. You know, and now people are, a little bit less reserved, than they were before, and it's a good feeling.
It was
But
the same at
yeah,
concerts all over the place, Michael. A lot
yeah,
of people being unsure. Can we sing? Can we do this as
right,
well? And there was a lot
yeah,
of anxiety with musicians about how the live scene was going to come back as well.
For
So it's
sure.
really good to see
right.
it has bounced back well.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that and really grateful.
No
worries.
doubt.
Awesome. Michael, we're going to let you get off. I know this has been a big one. You've had a lot on your plate and very, very busy, my friend. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, anything else we may have forgotten you would like to add in as well, my friend?
I'm just grateful all the way around. I'm giving thanks to everyone, including you guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and for having me. Thank you to all the listeners. I hope you enjoy the music.
Absolute pleasure. Everyone go grab Genesis, which is the debut album from Mychael Gabriel. It's an absolute ripper. He's also got a heap of singles out there. Honesty, Ghost in the Midnight, Invictus, Fury, Sights and Sounds. He's worked and collaborated with just about everybody out there in the funk, soul and blues scene as well. You can also catch him with Sheila E. Michael, thank you very much, my friend. Jim, do you want to add anything else?
God bless you, Mike. It is wonderful to meet you. Thank you for coming on the show with us, man. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.
God bless you guys.
God bless. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Cool.
There we go.
There we go. We has a short little break there. Big shout out again to Mychael Gabriel. That was an absolute pleasure to dive into some funk and soul music. I was chatting.
Brilliant dude, man.
Oh, he was so
cool.
cool.
My God. Dude.
I was talking before you jumped in there, Jim, and I did want to say a couple of points. So I'm glad we get to keep going to everybody that's stuck around. But I was saying that it was really fun to dive into like so much funk and soul this last week. I was listening to like Mary Clayton, Funkadelic, pardon me, Jackie Wilson, Brides of Funkenstein, Graham Central Station, man, so much different funk, blues, and soul music. So it was really a pleasure to dive into that as well.
Damn. That's so cool. No, that. It's so funny. I apologize for being late again.
No, that's all good. All good. We got there was 2 questions in. We just you'll
please
when we come back in. Also, I do have to shout out to everyone who has joined the Facebook group. Me and Jim now have a Legends Facebook group. So
excited.
Shout out to every single one of you. You are all the bloody legends. You're why we do it. Thank you very much. It's very, very encouraging. Yeah,
it's so rad.
It is rad. It's really rad, and it's really good to see. Well, I've got you on, man. I know we're going to dive into a little bit of. I'm glad we've done this after the interview because we may go a little bit longer.
Indeed.
You did send through the new Metallica single, which come out.
Oh my God!
Hours to go. Lux Æterna. Everybody is already having their opinion. I like it, man. It's Metallica. It's Metallica. I don't know. It's good.
Oh, it reminded me of the old Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
And like Kill 'Em All at Ride the Lightning. It was so funny. My buddy sent it to me because I was actually in. Ironically enough, I was in Guitar Center.
Yeah.
And trying some guitars, and then where I found out, oh, look at that shirt. Oh my God.
Gas. Big shout out to the Stench guys.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay's like a WWE wrestler. He's just like, all right, fine.
Shirt off.
Went there, and then it was like I said, it's so funny. God bless my friends. Bud Hubbard, Devin Fields, and Rick Freeman. I went to a lumber yard, and I'm literally cutting a guitar. So went there and was sitting there and cutting everything out. And my good friend who owns 633 Brewery, Mr. Kevin Barrick, he sends me this screenshot, and I thought it was a screenshot. I was like, oh. Whatever it's, oh, wow, they're going to have a single here. No, it was the actual link for Lux Æterna. And I was like, oh, my God, I played it. I mean, and it was like,
from
wow,
forthcoming albums, 72 seasons.
72 seasons?
April 14th.
I love the name for that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So we should do, brother, we should do a track by track in April.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Robert Trujillo, like an unreal bassist, I actually interviewed there's 3 degrees of separation. Actually interviewed his wife, lovely lady.
Oh, and
Chloe,
she's an amazing
musician in her own right. She plays
Absolutely.
with a guy called Mark Delbeth from New Zealand. Yeah,
Right.
man, he's over in the US now. But yeah, he's in a band called Rav Medic and yeah, all sorts he was, but he's a really good artist as well. So yeah, cool guy. So there we go, 12 degrees of separation or 3 degrees.
I love it.
Yeah, man. And a few other points, man. Typo Negative, man. The Dead Again limited edition reissue come out.
Oh, was
Yeah,
that the one that I can't now? Pardon my ignorance here. Is that the one that had Rasputin on the cover?
Yes, dude.
Yes,
You got in one. Let me find out if I can see this image here. I'll
Right.
open it up. It was a really cool album, that one.
Also unrelated to music there. We my wife and I have been watching stuff on Rasputin and the Romanovs. So it's been that's the one.
Yeah, I think it's like
best
15 years or something, 15th anniversary of the album, which was, of course, the final record before Pete Steele did pass.
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot happening on the music front at the moment as well. Phones and gigs, man. Where do you stand? I've seen something about Placebo going on it again, and I know it's come up a bit. And I go to gigs a lot now, and you can't go to a gig now without 300 million phones coming out before you, which I don't know where I stand on it.
Right.
Like, as media, I do it at times where I'll rip out a phone because I'll put up a bit of fucking shot footage of the gig or whatever. But I got a camera, so I'm a gig photographer. I do gig photography anyway, so I'm always running around with a camera. But how do you feel about phones at gigs, man?
I don't. It's one of those things. Take photos, capture the moment, but at the same time,
live in it.
You almost live in the moment, and it's almost like you had to fucking be there. You know what I mean? Like you like.
That's
I
what
remember
it used to be like.
It was right. So it was like. So I remember. I think my first concert was the Irish band, the Chieftains.
Yep.
Now I don't remember. All I remember is. And even not all that, it was just one of those things was, it wasn't, there was no amplifiers, nothing. It was just live mics and the Chieftains were there. My first rock concert was Summer Sanitarium, 99. And I remember seeing Kid Rock, Korn, Metallica, Power Man 5000, System of a Down. And just, it was, again, to capture the moment. It was just seeing them live and to hear, it just blew my mind, I speak of Metallica a lot.
First band I ever seen live as well. I've seen them 3 times live.
Right.
I absolutely love Metallica, man. Like
you can't help it.
Dude, all of Metallica, sorry people, I like all of Metallica. I don't give fuck, Load, Reload. I love it all, man. And those albums were pretty. I loved those albums, man. Like fucking Mama Said, dude. Shit, Thorn Within, Outlaw Torn,
Outlaw Torn. And it was so funny at the time. So they did No Leaf Clover. They did it without. They didn't have the orchestra there, so they did it right there. So to hear Hetfield hit that clean beginning and then that bombastic intro, and then to hear I Disappear, but it wasn't like the record. So Lars was hitting these like the kick crash on each of that ba da da bum ba na na, and he was hitting that every time. It was far more heavy than the actual record was, and then to hear Wherever I May Roam, all these songs, and to see it live, and they were playing it. That was incredible. Same thing with Korn.
Yep.
And then Kid Rock. Kid Rock was incredible because he not only was a vocalist, he played piano, he played guitar, he played every instrument on stage.
People will probably hate me too, but I love that. That was the Devil Without a Cause album.
Right.
Dude,
that was.
I dropped the boogie. My name is Kid.
When he hit that, it was just like, oh my God, like you knew where he was coming from. And the same thing with Jonathan with Korn. like when you heard Blind.
Yeah.
And when you hear it, it's like, oh,
yeah.
It was like you felt that in your soul.
And that Shoots and Ladders. That's a Korn. Speaking of funk and blues, man,
right.
Korn has a lot of funk in it, dude. A lot of fucking dude.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
Man.
But you can't capture that on a camera.
No.
You had to be there. You had to be there.
Yeah,
and
I support them a Big Day Out, Korn. Fuck, man.
Right.
Many year ago. Shit, dude, would have been maybe 99 or 2000.
Right.
Fucking, if anyone remembers, I do have the tickets for it somewhere. I've got a whole heap of concert tickets in here, man. They were really cool. Come out in there. Remember when he was in the Adidas get up? Shit, he'd have his Adidas kilt. He'd have his Adidas kilt, and he'd come out playing the bagpipes. I think it was for Shoots and Ladders,
and that was unheard of. Well, and that was unheard of too. Who plays bagpipe in a down-tuned metal band? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
but to take something unconventional and to make it so heavy. So I remember that too. Like when they did Shoots and Ladders, and then you hear that ba-bum, 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 and they are bent at the waist on stage, and the whole crowd. It was just like,
into it. Yeah.
Oh man.
And then you imagine them all there with phones now, dude. It would have been like
trying to,
cunts fucking iPods on the ground and shit.
Make sure you keep it steady and keep your head moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the key.
Like, oh my God. But there's something that's really cool too, that they want, like, I want to capture this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but some bands I know now are like wary about, like, used to go to a lot of these shows, and I know some of these shows I went to, they'd rip out a new track. They're like, this is off the forthcoming album. They're not
right.
And now they're like, some bands won't do it because they don't want to shit quality going up on the internet because every cunt man his dog, or before it's released, or you know what I mean, anything like that as well now. So some bands got
to go from here. We got a new song. Like, what was that?
Yeah, I know. I do dig now. Like, if you want to catch some of these really good performances, usually the organizers like Download, Hellfest. I know there's the Artie concert. There's these big places that actually, because YouTube's a fucking beast on its own now, that will
indeed
film these concerts with good quality anyway. So you can get head along, because I'm head along to the Good Things Festival on the weekend. That's like Bring Me the Horizon, No Effects for their last tour, Melancholy, fucking dude, it's gonna be an absolute ripper. I'm looking forward to it. Sabaton, Dino is coming over with Soulfly. Should be Soulfly has got Dino on there. I'm really excited about seeing Soulfly again.
No doubt.
I've seen them. I think they played the same year as Korn, maybe. Big Day Out many fucking a year ago. I know 303 have dropped out, and fucking JXDN, which I have never heard of anyway.
Hey, look at that lineup. Look at that. Melancholy, Story So Far, Soulfly, Lacuna Coil.
Deftones,
Deftones, Ginger, Sleeping with Sirens,
Gojira,
Sabaton, Gojira.
Yeah.
Oh wow, No Effects. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Now is this? Now I see Brisbane.
That's in Melbourne. So I've got to drive.
Oh, gotcha.
Melbourne. I've got to drive 9 hours. I'm going over with my brother-in-law.
I was gonna say,
my girlfriend.
Hell of a drive.
Yeah, my awesome girlfriend Tyler, who's getting ready for work right now, and my sister and my brother-in-law. So we're all going to jump pile into a car and drive 9 hours over to Melbourne. Get there the night before and rock out, which is really cool.
That's going to be rad.
Yeah, there's so many good concerts coming over to Australia now. Everything's been opened up, which is really great to bloody see. Speaking of concerts, that fucking Spotify craze, Instafest has taken over my feed at the moment, and I don't know where I stand on that. It's annoying as hell.
Is that the thing where you make your own
concert and put it up
concert?
There? Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
I haven't done that yet, but it'd be really, really weird. It would be like Metallica, Ace of Base, ABBA,
Yeah, I did, but I'm not pretentious enough to share it. Like, I don't really.
No, I feel the
I've got
same
enough
way.
real concerts to share. Like, I don't need to confuse people and start sharing
like,
fake
what?
ones. Yeah, I know. It's really eclectic as well.
Is this really a show? What's up?
I know I do a lot of research for bands, and sometimes I'm diving back over to Spotify because, you know, I get an album or two sent over and I'll go buy one or two on Bandcamp, and then otherwise I'll research it through Spotify. So it's very obscure. At the moment, it had a lot of funk up there. I think Sheila E and Mychael Gabriel were definitely up there up the top as well, which was cool.
I wanted to ask him, and it'll be a private question. Because they're so varied in their ability, I was like, I kind of want to be like, you guys want to write a metal record?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask him. Like, would, you know, is that something that ever be on the cards?
Like
collaborated
a different
with
genre.
Yeah, man, he could do anything though, couldn't you?
I know.
If you can play that,
he's amazing, dude.
Blues and soul and rock music like he does, dude. Like, you can do anything, man. Like, and it was watching him in those performances was really cool. I actually legitimately enjoyed it.
Incredible, dude.
Yeah, he got really quite a stage presence as well. I watched some of the footage from the recent European tours.
Yeah.
The 2020 tribute to Prince, the Grammy tribute to Prince, which was really cool. A lot, you know, when the awards ceremonies get things right like that. Maybe they should just stick to tributes and not giving out awards because they can't seem to fucking do it right.
Right.
Like we just had the Chats just won Best Heavy Metal Album. The Chats are good, but they're not.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The Chats are good, but they just won Best Heavy Metal album here in Australia.
No kidding.
Yes, dude.
That's funny.
They beat out Polaris and fucking North Lane, and
I was gonna say North Lane.
They beat North Lane for Best Heavy Album.
Wow. And they need to come do the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that would be great to have on for sure. Another band, New Zealand, Shepherd's Rain. They're pretty good.
Shepherd's Rain.
Yeah,
amazing.
Dude. They've just dropped a couple of double singles. They're working on a new album. They've re-released Lamanu and Aiga as a double A-sided single because they've got new music on the way. So next year.
Oh, wonderful.
And work with the promo people. So hopefully we can get one of the guys from Shepherd's Rain on next year. Also, who would you like to see on the show? When I put this up, people fucking comment. Let me know who you would like to have as a guest on the show. We will do our best. We are going to keep it this format for the time being. Me and Jim are going to do a show every now and then where we will catch up and talk a lot of about what's going on. How held my tongue there? I didn't swear. I was all ready to do a big.
No, I was waiting. I was waiting for something. I was going to
swear. Then I'm like, no, we will not swear today, Joe. We'll just take it down just a little notch. Anyway, I really enjoy getting guests on the show. It's really, really great again to have Mychael Gabriel on. Thank you again, Mychael Gabriel, for having that. Big shout out to Shauna O'Donnell at O'Donnell Media, one of the hardest working media PR people out there as well. So thank you, Shauna.
No doubt.
Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. This has been an absolute pleasure. Me and Jim are really enjoying this. We're going to try and keep this to a weekly format as well, people. So please do like, subscribe, jump onto that Facebook page. We cannot appreciate it or express how much we love each.
Love all of you. Thank you. Thank you for adding and supporting us, man. Thank you, brother, for having me on here.
That's it. And thank you to each and every one of you bloody legends. Thanks, Jim. We will do this again, my friend. Talk soon.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai, that Aussie metal guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.